Hi students, today we are going to see about another 5-mark question, important question from protein chemistry, biologically important peptides, right? Sometimes peptides are mostly biologically important peptides. So first point is we know the meaning of what is amino acid, what is protein, what is peptide, what is polypeptide like that, okay? So polymer of amino acid is known as protein. This protein, that is dipeptide, means 2, polypeptide means some less than 10 oligopeptides, more than 10 polypeptides like that. All these polypeptides are joined by peptide bonds, right? For carbohydrate metabolism, the joint name is glycosidic linkage. For protein metabolism, the bond name is peptide bond. For example, molecular biology, phosphodiester bond, like that you have to keep the names of the bonds, right? In protein metabolism, the polypeptides or the amino acids are joined by peptide linkages or peptide bond. In this biologically polypeptide or dipeptide or tripeptide, some are having important biological activity. So it is a 5-mark question. So I have taken only 5 examples. There are so many examples of important peptides. These 5 are very easy and also very related to clinically important points. Okay. The first one examples are hormones. It may be neurotransmitters. It may be antibiotics. It may be sometimes anti-cancer drugs. So you also take 5 points for your 5-mark question. So my choice is this 5 only. First one is glutathione, right? So all the biochemistry students should know A to Z about glutathione because it is very important molecule in biochemistry. So in this biologically important peptide, the first example is glutathione. It is actually tripeptide. That means 3 amino acids joined by peptide bonds. The formation or the composition of glutathione is glutamate, cysteine and glycine. So 3 amino acids, glycine, cysteine, glutamate. If in biochemistry if there is any 3 compounds occurs, it means you have to be ready for the MCQ question. They will be adding one more choice and they will be asking except, right? So composition of glutathione means glutamate, cysteine and glycine, 3 amino acids. Next one is, this is present in all cells except neurons. That is why I am giving separate points. Glutathione is present in all cells except neurons. Next one is actions of this glutathione. So for any peptides, first we have to mention the amino acid number, second composition, third 2 or 3 functions about the particular peptide. Here the enzyme glutathione peroxidase, which acts as an antioxidant. That means it removes all the free radical. That is, free radical scavenging system is glutathione peroxidase. Very important function for glutathione. Second one is, you all know that RBC membrane integrity is maintained by glutathione. Right? First point is antioxidant. Second point is maintain the integrity of RBC membrane. Otherwise the cells will go for rupture and go for hemolysis of cells and hemolytic anemia like that. So third one is, it involved in Meester cycle. For the transportation and absorption of amino acids, we need glutathione. It only receives the amino acids for the absorption. The cycle is known as Meester cycle. Next one is, this glutathione involved in detoxification also. You know the definition of detoxification. Toxic compounds are converted into non-toxic compounds and then get excreted by kidneys. So for detoxification, for Meester cycle transportation and absorption of amino acids, RBC membrane integrity, antioxidant, these 4 are the important functions of glutathione. Second peptide is TRH, that is thyrotropin releasing hormone. Thyrotropin releasing hormone. Here the 3 amino acid name is glutamate, histidine and proline. Glutamate, histidine and proline. Again one more important MCQ. So it is released by hypothalamus. You know the mechanism of hypothalamo-pituitary-thyroid axis, HPT axis. So in that axis it is released by hypothalamus. This thyrotropin releasing hormone act on the anterior pituitary and produces thyroid stimulating hormone. This act on the thyroid gland and releases thyroid hormones T3 and T4. So TRH is another important tripeptide for biologically important peptide. So where it is released from? Hypothalamus. How it acts on? It acts on anterior pituitary and thyroid and finally releases the thyroid hormones T3 and T4. Right? The third one is vasopressin. Right? This vasopressin is a nanopeptide, that is 9 amino acids are joined by peptide bonds. So it is released by posterior pituitary. Whenever the situation comes like decrease, that is low BP and low plasma volume, it stimulates the renal tubules to stimulate the reabsorption of water. And then vasoconstriction of blood vessels, finally they will achieve the normal blood pressure, increasing blood pressure at the condition of low BP and low plasma volume, right? So one more clinical important condition involved in this vasopressin is DIA, diabetes insipidus. It is like diabetes mellitus, it is also having polyuria, but the specific gravity is different from diabetes mellitus and diabetes insipidus. Otherwise, the vasopressin is otherwise known as antidiuretic hormone. So this vasopressin and DI are antidiuretic hormone and DI. DI means diabetes insipidus, right? Next one is fourth important, biologically important peptide is angiotensin 1 and 2. Actually 2 compounds, 2 peptides. Here angiotensin 1 is made up of 10 amino acids, whereas 2 is made up of 8 amino acids, right? It causes hypertension, it increases blood pressure. It promotes the synthesis of steroid hormones and aldosterone, which promotes the sodium retention and maintains the BP. Actually, separate class we discussed earlier about the RAS, RAAS, renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system coming under water and sodium retention topic. If time permits, you go through that RAAS, RAS system and then read this one. So this promotes, that is angiotensin 1 promote. Actually angiotensin 1 and 2 coming from, angiotensinogen is coming from liver. This angiotensinogen is converted into angiotensin 1, again converted into angiotensin 2, because angiotensin 1 is inactive, that should be converted into angiotensin 2, which is very active compound. That is the biochemistry of angiotensin 1 and 2. This angiotensin promotes the synthesis of aldosterone, which promotes the sodium retention, and then the BP, blood pressure will be maintained, right? The next one is oxytocin. This is also secreted by posterior pituitary. It is also nanopeptide, 9 amino acids. Here the actions or functions of this oxytocin, already you know the function. It stimulates the uterine contraction and nipple sucking, that is milk ejection, right? It releases at the situations of uterine distension and useful in the induction of labor and milk ejection. Oxytocin, 2 functions. Induction of labor and milk ejection, secreted by posterior pituitary. Amino acid number 9, so nanopeptide, right? So this biologically important peptide is your 5-mark question from chemistry of proteins. Okay.